how do you stay on track when you're traveling? Because as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we're constantly traveling. We're constantly moving. Leadership comes with a cost, and that cost is you. It costs your health. It costs your well-being. It costs your peace. I actually created a SOP, a travel standard operating procedure that allows me and my team to make sure that the travel that Justin's doing is going to ultimately be as smooth as possible. When I get up, I get into the workout center, I get my workout in, I go into the hot tub or into the sauna, I get my quiet time, I get my relaxed time. Travel is not an excuse to fail to be consistent. Travel is not an excuse of why you can't attain your goals. When you travel...
This is the Own It Show, where we tell stories of how everyday people made ownership theirs.
What's going on, team? Welcome back to the Own It Show. I'm your host, Justin Roethlingshoefer, and it's so great to be here with you guys today. If you're new here to the Own It Show, first off, welcome. The big thing that we do here at the Own It Show is we really give you this new perspective of what does it look like to live a life in ownership? What does it look to live a life that's different than what it is that you've been experiencing, that you've been stepping into today? And so today we're diving into another solo episode, really diving into how do you stay on track when you're traveling? Because as leaders, as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we're constantly traveling. We're constantly moving. We have to travel to go do a keynote. We have to travel to go to a workshop. We have to travel to an offsite leadership meeting. We have to go travel to a mastermind. We have to travel all of these different places. There's holidays that come up. And so how do we make sure that even within the travel that we have to do as it's a part of what we're stepping into, how do we make sure that doesn't disrupt the rhythms, the patterns, and ultimately the sustainability of what we're trying to accomplish when it comes to our health? The big thing, guys, at the end of the day, I know what it feels like to carry the burden of being a leader. I know what it feels like to have the difficulties, the struggles, the ups, the downs of being a leader. And at the end of the day, leadership comes with a cost. Leadership comes with a cost. And that cost is you. It costs your health. It costs your well-being. It costs your peace. It costs your joy. I know the weight that you're carrying. I know the pressure that you feel. I know the crushing feeling of not having enough time. But you have to realize that ultimately what's chasing you is stronger than you. What's chasing you is bigger than you. What's chasing you is faster than you until you face it head on and you become the giant that you were built to be. And so that's what we're going to go into today. That's what we're really going to try to equip you with today, as to how do we make sure that this is something that's going to be sustainable and something that you can truly take ownership of. If there's something that stands out today that you love, that serves you, all I ask is that you go and leave a review, you go and leave a comment, you share this podcast with somebody else, because that is how we're going to be able to reach more people and ultimately redeem the health of the world through its leaders. And so welcome to the Own It Show. Let's dive in. Really taking a look back at what I mean by a travel SOP. So let me give you this example. The last probably 4 weeks, I've traveled about 3 weeks out of those 4 weeks. There was 11 different flights, 14 different cities. And I don't say this to brag. I don't see this as a flex. It'd be a really weird flex if that was kind of what I was doing. But at the end of the day, we have to come back to, okay, how is this impacting me and how I'm moving forward? And a lot of these flights were delayed. I had 6 and 7 hour flight delays. I had flight cancellations. I had to stay overnight in a city that I wasn't expecting to. So all of these things that happen unexpectedly, but when things happen unexpectedly, if you fail to prepare for them stepping into it, you'll be ill prepared to handle the changes that are there. So I always come back to, how can we control what we can control in the best case scenario, so that ultimately when things happen that we have zero control over, we're prepared to step in with everything that we have available to us. And so what I did was I actually created a SOP, a travel standard operating procedure, that allows me and my team to make sure that the travel that Justin's doing is going to ultimately be as smooth as possible for him to step in, so that I can serve everybody that I need to in the best way possible, but also making sure that when I come back to my team, when I come back to my home, when I come back wherever I am, that I'm able to, again, stay on track with everything and live the life that we preach at Own It, the life in ownership, the life that is different, with the habits, the routines that are built around you. And it's not the excuse that, oh, I have travel, that's the reason why you fail. It's No, I have travel. So that's the reason why I have to be different than other people. And so the first thing is in this travel document, what I've done is I share this travel document with not only myself, but also my assistant, also my team, and also my travel agent. So everybody knows what's actually happening. With a couple of the speaking engagements that I do, they actually have a team that plans all my travel, so they also get it as well. And so make sure that this travel document is given to the people who are helping you plan, helping you execute, and helping you initiate a lot of these travel documents that you're getting done. Secondarily, if you don't have somebody that helps you with your travel, this is an easy way to buy back time. An easy way to buy back time. It's so simple to have a VA or somebody that you hire to be able to just follow this SOP and make sure, hey, I can book this flight for you. I have all the information and I'm able to get it going, and gives you back hours. I can't tell you the amount of time that we've done with this. And to be honest with you, I'm just going to share this. I wasn't planning on doing this, but the guy that I use, he's amazing. His name is Rick, and his company is called My In-House Travel. So it's Rick at myinhousetravel.com. Let him know that Justin sent you from Own It. And basically what he does is he charges you per trip. And it's like $5 for a flight booked, $5 for cars, $5 for hotels. And he gets you the discounted rates. It's amazing. And I don't even have to think about it. So it's literally a no-brainer. It's saved me in so many ways. So Rick at myinhousetravel.com is an easy way to go. Just tell him Justin sent you and he'll hook you up. But coming back to this travel SOP. So what I did was I created this travel SOP, and it's pretty much like a 14-point thing that my team has responsibilities and I have responsibilities. So number one, for my team, my flight time, I'm either going to have a flight before 8 a.m. or after 5 p.m. Why I'm doing that is ultimately so that it leaves me the opportunity to work during the day. It leaves me opportunity to make sure that I can get everything done that I need to. So I'm not having to adjust meetings. I'm not having to shift meetings. I'm not having to change things up. And what it also allows me to do is allows me to stay on time zone. So whether I'm shifting time zones or not, if I'm leaving before 8 a.m., I'm waking up early to get a flight, which I can either sleep on or I can be awake on, depending on if I'm going east or west. And then if it's after 5 p.m., I can do the same thing. I'm knowing I'm landing where I need to shift to a different time zone, or I'm taking obviously a red eye where I get to sleep and then I get to just go right into my day. So that's number one. The flight times that are booked by my team are either before 8 a.m. or after 5 p.m. Number two is the goal is to be landed in the city of destination before sunset or the latest 9 p.m. Why I'm doing that is because whether I'm coming back to Miami or whether I'm going to LA or going to Chicago or going to New York or going anywhere, if I can land before sunset, that means that I'm going to be able to see sunset in the plane, basically resetting circadian rhythm. I'm going to be able to see sunset as soon as I get my feet on the ground, thus resetting circadian rhythm. Or at 9 p.m. at the latest, I would have seen sunset in the plane. And then once I've landed, able to start my night routine. And so it allows me to make sure that I'm not eliminating a good positive night's sleep the day before, probably a keynote or a workshop or whatever I'm there for. Number three, for a keynote or workshop, trying to limit the time in a city by less than 24 hours, unless there are multiple meetings that I have to take in that city. Now, why am I wanting to do it for less than 24 hours? Number one is it's going to limit the wear and tear on my body. Number two, it's going to allow me to be focused and in there, very focused and very purposeful for the time that I'm there. Perfect example, when I fly into a keynote or a workshop, what I like to do is I like to actually take in the environment of what's happening in that space, so I can hear what the host of the event is saying, or I can hear what the energy and the environment of the audience members or the members that are there that are feeling, so that I can start to bring some of that into the talk and interweave it into the talk and be super present. If I'm there for longer than 24 hours, what happens is it starts to overlap in terms of meetings, and now I'm having to not be as present. I'm not having to be, I'm stepping in, I'm stepping out. But if it's only a 24-hour window, I can really make sure that I'm purposefully and intentionally focused on what it is that's happening and what's going on there. And then number four, the hotel that's booked has to have a sauna or a hot tub, one of those two, a gym, and then within walking distance to a grocery store. And why is this important? Because number one, I can get my workout in at any point in time. Number two, I can make sure that I have the sauna and the hot tub for my quiet time, my zen time, my alone time. and then within walking distance to a grocery store so that I'm able to get the food in place that I need. I'm able to make sure that I get the quality snacks in place that I need. And I just have this ability to go and know that I don't have to go to a restaurant in order to eat anything that I'm needing to. So that's what my team has. And so I've got this team that's always booking flights, always booking hotels, booking cars, and they know these things. They just know, hey, this is the SOP. This is how I'm operating. This is what I have to do for Justin. So there's no questions. There's no confusion. And the standard's been set. And then if there's anything outside of that, they simply send me a message and say, hey, this is what the circumstance, this is where we're at. How do we best adjust? And so that's what that looks like. Now for me, this is where, for anybody listening to this who's got some travel going on, who's actually having to think about this stuff, this is where all of a sudden you have to develop the standard. You have to set the standard and you have to hold the standard. And so for me, I have a few things that I make sure of. Number one, I have snacks on hand. I have 5 things. Number one, I have beef jerky or turkey jerky, one of the two. I have dried mango, making sure, again, easy, simple snack. Number 3, I have a Greek yogurt. And number 4, I have a chicken wrap. Number 5, I have a piece of fruit, an apple, a pear, or something like that. Those are the 5 things I always have on me. Always, always, always. Non-negotiables in my backpack. Why? Take my 8-hour flight delay. While everybody else, and again, we have the Delta Lounge access, but in this one particular place, I wasn't flying Delta, so I couldn't get into the Delta Lounge. And then the other lounges, I've been in airports where they actually don't have any lounges, or they're small lounges, or whatever it might be. While everybody else is lining up to the fast food restaurants or trying to swipe their credit cards in some of these like really quick and stop and go places, I've got my chicken wrap, I've got Greek yogurt, I've got dried mango, I've got beef jerky, and I've got fruit that I'm able to actually start eating and snacking on, which is critical for being able to make sure that I'm prepared for what is ultimately, I don't know what the outcome might be. Second is I always have supplements on hand. I have 3 of them. Number 1, I bring little element packets, so I make sure that I'm hydrated. Number 2, I bring my own custom compounded supplements so that I'm always making sure my immune protocol is high. And then number 3, I make sure I have a little baggie of protein powder. So again, I can use it as a quick snack, quick fuel, whenever I need that I don't have something else available. Number 7, again, the third thing that I do is I actually bring a water bottle. I don't have it in here with me, but I actually bring a 32-ounce water bottle. I empty it and I fill it with ice before I walk through security. You can go through ice with no issues at security. That might be just a mind-blowing statement for some people, but going through security with an empty water bottle with ice in it allows you to get on the other side, fill up your water with element, put it in and drink it, and it's cold and it feels good. So that's, again, a very simple thing. The next thing is I have a travel red light. It's literally this big, small brick. Throw it right in my bag. Okay. It allows me to get red light first thing in the morning, last thing at night. If I need to adjust my eyes to, and I wasn't able to see the sunset or whatever it might be, if I'm in a place where the sun rises later, I can get access to the red light. So I am able to, again, get my energy set and energy going. My travel outfit is always with my sleep hoodie. My sleep hoodie has a hood. It has a built-in sleep mask. It has built-in earplugs, and it's a moisture wicking cooling shirt. So I stay cool on the plane. So those are the things that I always have with me. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, Justin, like how big is the bag you travel with? I travel with a hard carry-on and a backpack. That's it. So I make sure my clothes are in there. I make sure all my snacks are in my bag. I've got my computer, my laptop, and that's it. Super simple, super easy. The other thing that I make sure is that I set standards for myself. And this is why I uphold them. I've got a hotel that has a gym, a sauna, and a hot tub. So I make sure that my day doesn't start before 8:30 a.m. I'm making sure that it's the same schedule that I'm holding here at home. When I get up, I get into the workout center, I get my workout in, I go into the hot tub or into the sauna, I get my quiet time, I get my relaxed time, I get my stretching in, I go back upstairs, I shower, and then I get to wherever I need to go. That is the biggest thing that ultimately makes sure that I'm able to stay on track and that I'm able to be disciplined in that way. And then the last thing that I do is I make sure that if I'm staying in a location for less than 36 hours, I stay on the Eastern time zone. But if I'm staying for greater than 36 hours, I shift into my local time zone wherever I am. Meaning that if I'm going to Chicago and back, I'm making sure that I'm staying on Eastern Standard Time. I'm eating at that time. I'm getting up at that time. I'm making sure that my calls and everything are regulated at that time. Everything stays on that time. But if I'm going to LA for 3 days, then I actually shift to Pacific Standard Time as quickly as possible. My eating schedule, my sleeping schedule, everything, so that I can really make sure that I'm energized and present, and then being able to come back when I'm on Eastern Time. Because staying on Eastern Time while in Pacific for three days or more, it's just going to start creating a massive amount of sleep debt in yourself that's just unnecessary. So that is what my protocol looks like. That's what my SOP looks like. And I want to make sure that you can realize that this doesn't have to be something that's set in stone, but it's simply an idea and a process that's really allowed me to have freedom when I travel, make sure that I'm successful, and make sure that I'm moving forward in a positive way. So again, I make sure that I have a travel SOP that my entire team knows, the people who are planning my travel know, looking at flight time, looking at when I want to be in any city, when I want to be coming home, the time that I'm in each city, how to maximize my time there. So closing that gap, what my hotel book situation looks like. And then for me, the standards of what I travel with, making sure, again, I've got a little checklist when I'm packing my bag, making sure that everything is in place so that when I show up, I'm the best version of myself. I'm most focused. I'm most aware, and I'm able to ultimately serve the people that I'm there to serve, and doing it over a long period of time. It's one thing to go and be a speaker 2 or 3 times a year. It's another thing to be a speaker where you're going 50 and 60 times a year. It's also something to do it for a 2 or 3 year span. It's another to do it for a 20 or 30 year span. And so I have the full intention to be doing this for 30, 40 years, just like John Gordon, just like some of the people who are mentoring me, John Maxwell. And I want to make sure that I have the sustaining power. I want to make sure that I'm mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually grounded so that I have the systems in place in order to continue to keep serving at the level that I truly desire at the end of the day. And so if this was helpful, I'd love for you to comment what was most helpful for you. What did you take away that was like, man, this is an eye opener? Or if you have questions, I'd love you to send a DM to me in Instagram, or send an email over to justinr@ownitcoaching.com, just so that we can continue to have this dialogue and be able to see how this works. But again, when we step back and we realize it, travel is not an excuse to fall off all of your systems. Travel is not an excuse to fail to be consistent. Travel is not an excuse of why you can't attain your goals. When you travel, it just is the reason why you have to be more focused, why you have to have the systems, why you have to have the accountability, why you have to have the teams, why you have to have the people around you to make sure that you can be consistent and you can attain everything that's there for you. Because we know that that success is different. So own your different. I'll see you guys next week.